Hello, my name is Chukuma, and in this video I'll be showing us how to screen applicants for a job without the need of going through hundreds of CVs. Now, many HR professionals find this activity of screening applicants as tedious because of the number of CVs that they have to go through. Now, in this demonstration, we'll be using applications that are free and easily accessible to us, and this will help us to overcome that issue of having to screen multiple numbers of CVs just to get candidates for the next step in our recruitment process. Now, I'll be using the following applications: Google Forms, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and Microsoft Outlook. So let's get right to it. Now, the first thing I will want to do is to gather information from the potential candidates. And how will I do this? I'm going to use the Google Forms for this. So all I just need to do is go to my search engine, click on Google or search for Google Forms, and I see this this page. So I click on the Google Forms. Now it takes me to this page where I have the personal and the business. Now I'll be working with the personal because here it says collect and organize information big and small with Google Forms for free. So go to Google Forms, and then we have the business, which is the G Suite. This form you love with added security and control for teams. So this might be required for maybe an organization, but for this demonstration I'll just use the personal form. Okay, so it brings me to this page. So if you look closely, you can see I have quite a number of other applications that I have prepared for different jobs. I'll be using this particular one, but let me show us how we can get to this. Now, I just click on a blank page. And once you click on a blank page, it brings us to this interface. So this is the form, a free form, an empty form. So all I need to do is begin to populate it with the information. So I've said that I'm going to work with the customer. So let's say I'm trying to get applicants for this role, the customer service executive. Okay, and now the reason why I am filling this form is, remember, when you have CVs, you have certain criteria that you're going to use to screen. So perhaps the number of years of experience, perhaps the degree that this person has, perhaps its gender, perhaps it's a particular qualification. So when you're creating your forms, the first thing you want to make sure that you have understood is what will you be using for your screening. So what exactly are your selection criteria? Now, it won't be right for us to create these forms and we couldn't capture what the selection criteria is, and it defeats the whole purpose of this exercise in the first place. So before you start, you could take a sheet of paper and then write down every single information that you want to collect from the applicants, and also particularly the information which is critical for your selection or for your screening process. Now, in creating this form, I've put the title. Now the next thing is the questions that I want to ask of the candidates. So yeah, one of the first things we'll start with is obviously the names of the person. So I could go with first name. Okay. Now this form is very intuitive. What I mean by intuitive is, for every question that you ask, it automatically detects what kind of answer it should be. So for the example, I put first name, so it's telling me that this is most likely a short answer. Okay. Now, for every question that you want the applicants to fill, it's important that you make those questions compulsory. Okay. Now, to do that, you see this place where we have the required. So all I need to do is click on the required and get that clicked on. So what it means is that you cannot fill out this form without completing this particular one. Now, once I've done this, I just click on plus. So you can see that red asterisk sign telling me that it's a compulsory or a required question. So the next thing I want to do is last name. Okay, so again it tells me it's it's a short answer, so I click on required. Okay, so let's see an example of another information. So let's say I put gender. Okay, so gender, it sees it and says, okay, gender could be a multiple choice. Now you could use quite a number of other options. So you have short answer, paragraph, multiple choice, checkbox drop down. If you want to file upload, you want to use a linear scale, multiple choice grid where people can check from, a checkbox grid where you want someone to check dates and time. So I have all of these options depending on what kind of answer I want. Now for this that is gender, I usually prefer to use a drop down. Now the reason for my use of drop down is it makes the form a bit shorter. So if I use the multiple choice, you see all the answers or the options available to you at once. But with the drop down, it hides the options, and once you get to that question, all you need to do is click on your response, and then it takes that information. Okay, so male and female. So we continue to populate this until we have gotten our initial or all the information that we need. So like I said, I've already created one which I want to use for this demonstration. So let me just go back and select that particular form, and then show us what we're going to do with it. Okay, so this is the form I want to work with. So let's open that form and see what it is like. Okay, all right, so I'll be working with this form. So all the forms shows me signs that they are asterisked. So I'll be working with these forms. Now once you've created your form and you've been able to get the information that you want, the next thing you will want to do is to click on this tab here that we have that says send. Now once I click on send, I have three options for what I can do. Now first, I can either send an email. So if I already have a targeted group of people I want to send a questionnaire to, all I just need to do is get their emails, and then in this place I just put the emails of the persons and then click on send. Now for applications, you obviously don't know what their emails are, so we'll try the second option. Now the second option gives me the opportunity to get a link. Now this link is a link that I can put in any platform where I used to advertise the particular job role. So it could be my email marketing platform, it could be my social media platforms, or whatever platforms that we use for application. So all I need to do is copy this URL, so I can also shorten it just to make it shorter. Now once it's short, all I just need to do is copy, and then once that is copied to the clipboard, all I need to do is paste it wherever it is that I want to paste it in my application ad, and then once applicants click on it, it takes them to the front page. So I'm going to demonstrate what it will look like. I'll come back to this. So I've copied it, so I'm opening a new tab, and then I Ctrl V, and then I click and enter. So when applicants click on the form, this is what it would look like. So let's see. So if I was to Chukuma, more. Okay. So email address. So let's use one of my email addresses. Okay, so phone number. So here is where I have degree obtained. So this is why I said if I use a drop down, it shortens the form. So let's assume I have a BSc, my class of degree, second class lower, my years of experience, the 3 years, professional qualifications, not applicable, NYC status, completed, and then I just click submit. Well, I'm not going to submit it because I'm not applying for the job. Okay, so this is what your applicants would see on the front end whenever they click on that URL. So let's go back. Now the third option is an embedded HTML. So if I have maybe a site I've created for applications, so all I need to do is I take this HTML code and insert the code in that website, and once anyone clicks on it, it takes them to the form as well. So these are the three options that we have. Like I said, for applications I usually like to use the link. Okay, so I close this. Now once applicants fill up the forms over time, when you come back to the back end, because this is the back end, this is the front end of the form. So from time to time you can always come back and look at the responses. So if you look at this place where you have the questions, just next to it we have the responses, and as you can see here, I already have 10 responses for this particular form. Now if I click on the responses, this is what it shows me. So it gives me a whole picture of every single information I captured. So the first name, 10 responses, the last name, 10 responses, email address, 10 responses, phone number, 10 responses, a degree obtained, 10 responses with a pie chart showing me the distribution, the class of degree, 10 responses again with the distributions, the years of experience of each of the applicants, professional qualifications that they have, and as well their NYSE status. So it gives me all of the information. But now this information I have to scroll, and I can't use this information as it is for the screening that I want to do. Now to enable me do that, what I want to do is I want to look at all of this information in one document, and I can see every single thing, and then it helps me also to begin to do or carry out my screening process. Now if I look at this at the top of this form, I can see this green button with a cross at the center of it. So if you put over your mouse over it, you see it says view responses in sheets. So this is what we call the Google Sheets. So if I click on that, it opens the Google Sheet. So I have all of that information, every single information that I had created on one spreadsheet. So with this I can actually do my analysis. Okay, let's close this. No thanks. Okay, so it's still loading, still performing some work on it. Okay, it's working, it's almost done. Okay, all right, so I can see all my information. So I just scroll to the end, so every single information, so all of my 10 responses are here. Now I can actually do a bit of filtering here, but I usually prefer that I copy this and take it to Excel so that I can always save it and then use the information to do quite a number of things I want to use it to do. So before we go to the Excel, I need to show something else. Now usually in your job ad, usually put a date to close out the form or to close out applications. Now it's also possible that people get to see the forms much later, even after the deadline date, and they also get to enter their information. Now if I want to stop receiving responses from people, what I can do is I come to the back end, and you can see this part that has accepting responses ticked. Now all I need to do is I would untick it, so it now says not accepting responses. So messages for respondents, this form is no longer accepting responses. So this is what your respondents will see if they click it after the closing period of that application. So let's see the impact of that. So let me refresh this. Yes, reload please. So it says the customer service executive, the form customer service executive is no longer accepting responses. Try contacting the owner of the form if you think this is a mistake. So resume collecting responses. Only form editors can see this link. So this is what the customers now see once I have closed the application. Okay, so let's go back to the Google Sheets. So what I want to do is I want to copy all of this information. So I click Ctrl A, Ctrl C, and once I've done that, I take it to my Excel sheet. So I have this blank Excel sheet here. So I click on this, right click. So I have two options: keep source formatting, so that will keep the format of from the Google Sheet, or I match destination format. So I prefer to use this so that everything is all compact. So it's copied. So all I need to do is I expand so that I can see all of the information. All of the information. So phone numbers, degree obtained, class of degree, years of experience, professional qualifications, and then lastly the NYSC status. So I have all of this my information. Now this is where the screening is actually now done. Now I have this information and I have 10 applicants. Now let's say some of the information I have here is showing that some persons have not qualified and I need to do that screening. So all I need to do is do a bit of filtering of all of this information. Now to do that, I'll go to the data tab, okay, and then I go to the ribbon that says sort and filter, the sort and filter ribbon. So I click on the filter. Once you click on that, okay, sorry, I have to put my cursor on the data. So I click on filter now. So it filters all of the columns that have information. Okay, so what I now want to do is the screening. So let's assume part of my criteria is to look out for people who have HND, BSc and above. So HND, BSc and above. So I click on this drop down button here under the degree obtained. So it brings me this options for filter. So I've said I want anything HND, BSc and above. So BSc will be included, HNC included, MSc included. So anyone with an OND and an SSc, I would untick and click on OK. So you can see the numbers have reduced from 10 to I think about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's do another filter. Now I also want to look at the class of degree. So yes, you have a BSc, an MBA, HND. Now your class of degree I want to look at is anyone with a second class, and that's second class and higher. So second class and higher. So I don't want a third class, I don't want a pass. Yes, first class distinction, second class, and so I say OK. So again, it's further sorted that out. So I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these 6 are my candidates who I'll now tell myself, okay, these are the people that I would like to have some kind of conversations with. So if I had like 100 people, I can actually trim it by just doing this filter into say something manageable, 20. So what I can now do is I say, okay, these 20 people are the ones that I actually want to see their CV. So instead of me having to look through the CVs of 100 people, I can narrow that down to say 20 or 10 people, depending on the number of people that I want to use. Now, the next issue is, so how do I send messages to all of these people? Okay, so that I can get or have them, come in so that we can have that discussion that we talked about earlier on. Now, it would have been cumbersome if I had like 20 people and then I have to start sending messages to each of the 20 people. Now, we're going to use a feature in the Microsoft Word, which is called mailings, where I can send this number of people. I can send them a mail telling them that they've been selected for an interview with just the click of one button. So I send multiple mails by just clicking send once, and it goes to every single one of them. So that's the next step, and that's what we want to look at. So I'll save this file. So let's save this file because I'll be needing it. Okay, no, let me do something. So let me copy this information. Control C, and I click a new sheet, and I click. So I go to home. So paste. Let me click on paste special. Just want the values without any format. Okay, so it gives me, so instead of me having to have some, so just click on that. So I have all of that information. So these are the people that I have selected. Okay, so let me rename this selected. Then I can now save. Just change that to documents. HR. And let's call this customer service. Executive. And then I click save. Okay. So I go to my Word. So the first thing I want to do is I want to type out my mail template, stating every single information that I have created. Now, so it's invitation to oral interview. Okay, so let's make this bolder. Put this here. Come back. Let's reduce this to 12. So I have dear. So I leave a space and comma. I'll come back to why I've left the space. So you have been invited for an interview for the position of customer service executive. Okay. Details are as follows. Okay, so date, batch. So I'm going to explain why I'm putting all of this. Batch. Okay. So I have venue. Just put 122 Gala Street. Okay. So please come along with your CVs. Best regards. Sorry, this should be best regards. HR team. Okay. Yeah, we left out one information here, so let's put time. Now you can see that I have left some spaces here. Now the reason why I'm leaving the spaces is not every single of my applicants will be coming at the same time. So I'm leaving this space to allow me to be able to do that. So now you see, so I need date, I need information on date, batch, and time. So I go back to my Excel sheet and I create a third sheet from my selected. So I want these two information. So I copy that. And I drop it here. Okay. I also need the email addresses. See, so I come and I keep that here. Now if I go back to the forms, remember I said I need the date, so I'm assuming that I'm giving them different batches. So I need the batch and then the time that each applicant will come. So date, batch, and time. So date, batch, and time. Okay. So let me expand this. Expand this. Expand this. And expand this. Okay, so let's assume I'm doing this for 2 days. So 1, 2, the first 3 will be on the 16th of July 2020. So let's just copy this for the next 3 people. So copy cells. Okay, so this 3. The next group will be coming on the 17th. Again, I copy down. Just copy cells. Okay, so let's say they're all coming at different batches. So I give this person batch A, batch B, batch C for that first day. On the next day, batch A, batch B, batch C. Okay, so they're coming at different times. So 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Same thing, 9 a.m. the next day, 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Okay, so again I click on save. So I just save it, Control S to save my document. So I go back to my Word. Now remember I said we're going to be using a feature in Microsoft Word called mailings. So I want to convert this document, this my template, into a mail format. So all I need to do is I click on the mail tab. Now under the mail tab, I see some are grayed out, some are highlighted. Now I go to this part that says start mail merge. So it says that create one document and send it to multiple people. So you can insert fields like name or addresses. Word will create a copy for each recipient and replace those fields with that person's info. And that's what we're going to do. So once I click on start mail merge, so I want to send email messages. So I click on email messages. So it changes the format. So it becomes a bit, it begins to look like it's on the landscape now. So once I do that, the next thing I want to do is I want to select recipients. So it says there, choose the list of people you would like to send your documents to. So you can type a new list, use an existing one, or select Outlook contacts. So for this, I'll be using the second option, which is to use an existing list. So I click on select recipients. So I use an existing list. Okay. So remember I saved my document, that's my Excel sheet that I created earlier on. I saved it on the document, so I go to documents. So I look for my Excel sheet titled Customer Service Executive. So here it is. So I click on open. So it asks me which sheet I want to use. So I'm going to be using the third sheet. Okay, sheet 3, which was the very last one I created, which has all the information I need. So I click OK. So the moment I do that, you can see all these other ribbons now become highlighted. So now that I have that, so the next thing I want to do is I want to go to insert merge field. So add a field from your recipient list to the document, such as last name, home phone, or company name. Now when you finish the mail merge, your Word will replace these fields with the actual information from your recipient. So let's see how that is done. So the first place I want to go to is where I had dear. So obviously from that it means I actually wanted to put the person's name. So I have dear. So once I click on this, I click on the mail merge. So I want the first name to appear here. Then I put a space because that's how I want it to look. Then I click on insert and I click on last name. Okay, so the first name, last name. So the next information I want to capture is date. So again, I go to insert mail field. Then I have where I have date. So I click on date. So date appears. Then I go to batch, space. Click on insert merge field. Click on batch. Come to time, space. Again, I look for the time. I click on time. Okay, so I'm done. So the next thing I want to do is to confirm that all my information has actually been captured. So to do that, I go to where I have the preview results. So preview results. So once I click on this, so I can see that the names have been replaced, starting with the very first person, which was Gary Ade. So if we look at our Excel sheet here, so that's Gary Ade, 16th of July, batch A, 9 a.m. So let's go back. So 16th of July, batch A, 9 a.m. So I can check for others to confirm that I have all 6. So one. So the next person is Emeka Wankwo, batch B, 10 a.m. same 16th. Number 3 is Garba Bala, date 16th of July, batch C, 11 a.m. Then number 4 on the 17th, which is the next day, batch A, 9 a.m. Priya Adams. Then Felicia Brown, 17/7B, batch B, time 10 a.m. And lastly, Peggy Lawson, 17th of July, batch C, 11 a.m. So with this, I've captured all of my applicants who I want to have that oral interview with. So the last part of this is where I now click on the finish and merge. Okay, finish and merge. So all I want to do is, so I have the options of, so let's over that so that it tells us what if. So choose how you want to complete the mail merge. So you can open a new window to see each copy of the document, send the mailing directly to the printer, or send it by mail. So I'm going to be using the last one. So I don't want to print, I don't want to edit individual documents. I just want to send email messages to every single person. So I click on send email messages. So automatically the software has picked the part of my Excel form which had the email address. So that's this. So it has picked that up for each of the candidates. So I put a subject line. So I can call that invitation for oral interview. Okay, so HTML, and so I have 3 options here. So I can either choose all, or just this current record. So perhaps I just want to send to Peggy Lawson alone, or I can choose from what number. So maybe from number 1 recipient to number 3. Maybe if you change your mind about the persons or the number of people you want to send to. So all I need to do is click on OK. So once I click on OK, yes, you won't see anything here. So the next place I need to go to, so you can see that it's moving here. So you can see, okay, so that's the last person. So if I go to my Outlook application, now if you look at the outbox, you see that I have some messages in the outbox. So you can see it's sent, it's preparing to send the message. So some of the message have already gone. So it's just this that is remaining. So once it sends this, I'll take us back to my sent folder so that we can see what's happening there. Let's go to the sent folder. Okay, so you can see, so this, not sending them. Well, I think I know what the reason is. Those mail addresses don't exist, so I just created them. But yeah, that's what happens. So once you go to your sent message, okay, in your Outlook, you will see all those messages that were sent to the applicants. Okay, so that's how to do this. Very easy. It won't take you any time. It won't cost you any money. All the applications that we've used are all free applications that come with your system. All you just need to do is do the work of asking yourself, what are the criteria that I want to use to select candidates. Once I do that, you fill your forms and you follow this process, and it's done very easily for you. So thank you for watching this video. We'll create more of these kinds of videos for you to use. Thank you very much.